Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Narayana. Hari-Om and good evening from Portland. One of the first Upanishads that one studies in their study of self-development and their study of enlightenment is Ishavasya Upanishad. And before the first mantra of Ishavasya Upanishad, there's a prayer that is chanted. Do you all know what that prayer is? You all do know what that prayer is. But what's funny is for Ishavasya Upanishad, this is chanted at the beginning, but in our tradition we chant this at the end. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And that's our class for today. Hari-Om. What does this mantra mean? Purnam Adaha means that is full. That is full, that is complete, that is infinite. I want you to think of that as being the environment outside of your satsang. So the work you came from, the school you came from, that is complete. Purnam idam. This is complete. Idam means this, that which is nearby. And I want you to think of your satsang, your study group, as idam. So outside of this door is complete, and in this house there is completeness also. Purnat Purnam Udachyate. From that completeness, this completeness has come. From outside of your study group, you have come into your study group. You got that third message. From that, this has come. From the cause, there is an effect. Purnasya Purnam Adaya. When this is removed from that, when this completeness is taken away from that completeness, when this satsang is finished, when we reach 8:30 p.m., and here's the important message. All is important, but this is the message. Purnam eva avashishyate. That is still complete. That is still full. So 5 messages. That is full. This is full. From that, this has manifested. When this which is manifest is removed from that, that is still full. Why this is shared as an opening prayer is because many of us believe that this study group is the real world. And when the study group is complete, you have to go back to the unreal world. And some people feel the exact opposite, that this is the unreal world, but that's the real world. And this prayer is teaching us, when you study an Upanishad, to understand, to appreciate that all outside is infinite, all inside is infinite. The way that you've come from the world to this study group, you should have this feeling of divinity, and the way you leave this study group to go to the world, that same feeling of divinity should be there. Clear? This is the opening prayer for this Upanishad. When we start to tune into the depth of this prayer, we stop feeling separation. That the world is separate from the study group, or the study group is separate from the world, or I'm separate from you, you're separate from me. And when separation stops, doership does also. Only where there's separation, there's doership. I did, I'm doing, I will do. That ego, that arrogance. And when doership stops, being tired stops too. Someone who's lost in doership, they just keep having to act and act and act and act and act. Even me saying and act, I'm getting tired. And that's all of us. We come home from work tired, we go to work tired, we come home from school tired, we go to work, school tired. That's what we're doing. With the vision, there is a single experience of love and life. One feels rest. One feels... Imagine feeling like that every moment. Possible. This is why we're studying Bodha, the science of Atma, or In Shloka 47, we had studied how, when we come to the understanding and appreciation that there is only existence awareness, joy in me, and outside of me, and outside of me, and in me, I start to live more naturally. There's more love, so you feel more natural. And our sutra is, infinity is inclusivity. The more loving you become, the more inclusive you become. The less loving you become, the more exclusive you become. Today's International Women's Day, correct? I'm appalled that there's still workplace disparity when it comes to pay between genders. To me, like a child doesn't know how a car works or the internet works, I don't understand how that's even possible. But Maya makes the impossible possible, right? This is happening, this exclusivity. And in Shloka 48, Acharya Shankara gives the example of clay, that clay manifests as pots. Pots are really just clay. The more we taste the connection of our oneness, instead of male and female as humans, instead of humans and animals as creation, the more joy we experience, the more we focus on that connection. And the sutra for 48 is, manifestation is not modification. Manifestation is not modification. Just because there's males and females, that doesn't mean that they are separate. They're different, but not better or worse. We continue our study of love. How does someone who loves themselves fully live? Shloka 49. Jivan muktastu tad vidvan. Jivan muktastu tad vidvan. Purvopadi gunanstyajet. Purvopadis gunans tajet Satchidanandarupatvat. Satchidanandarupatvat. Bhavet Brahmarakitavat. Bhavet Brahmarakitavat. Together. Jivan muktastu tad vidvan. Purvopadi gunans tyajet. Satchidanandarupatvat. Bhavet Brahmarakitavat. Acharya Shankara says, Vidvan, one who knows, tat, knows the truth, knows themselves. Tu, indeed, muktaha, they are free, jivan, while living. One who knows themselves is freed right here, right now. Knowledge directs our identification. We've studied this. When I know someone more, this someone is an acquaintance. If I know them more, I either push them to become a stranger or pull them to become a friend, and it's because I know them more. Shared in the negative, if I have cancer and I overcome that cancer, and I know someone else has cancer, my identification with them is closer. We have more of an empathetic relationship, correct? Or you can take this to the positive. If you know your Sadguru is enlightened, would you ever miss an opportunity to be with her or him? Knowledge directs our identification. And for someone who knows themselves, they're identified not with the limited, so they're not limited. They are free. In the next quarter, Tyajet, they let go of. What do they let go of? Gunaha, the ropes, upadi, the ropes of these equipments, purvaha, of their previous identification. Now that they know that they're more than meets the eye, they are not identified with what meets the eye, gender, skin color, and so on and so forth. Tyaga of gunaha. Gunaha means qualities, gunaha means ropes, letting go of those ropes. And this is a most profound teaching because these ropes are not holding on to us. We are holding on to these ropes. Whoa. There's an episode of The Simpsons, to bring more reality to what we're studying, where Homer's at a vending machine and he puts in the money and the pop falls down, but the pop doesn't fall down all the way. So Homer puts his hand in to try to pull that pop out and he gets stuck. So he starts moving the machine. He starts yelling. They have to call the fire department. The fire department has the chainsaw, the jaws of life. They're about to cut off Homer's hand. And one of the firefighters asks Homer, Homer, are you holding on to that can of pop? And he lets go and he's easily able to pull his hand out and walk away. That's like us. We're holding on to these ropes and saying we have to study Atma, Bodha. We need Jivan Mukta. Let go of those ropes. This tyaga leads to sannyasa. Sannyasa means being free. This is the whole teaching of chapter 18 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Let go of what you can let go of. I had recently met an organ surgeon, someone who takes organs from one body to another body. I'm sure it's some fancy name that I won't pronounce properly anyways. Now, who decides what to amputate? If I'm slowly, I have gangrene in my foot or my leg is damaged or whatever it may be, who's deciding to let go of that foot or that leg or that finger or that kidney or whatever it is? whoever is making that decision, that is who you are. Not what's being amputated. If you are what's being amputated, then how would you even allow that to happen? How is that possible? You are the one making the decision for that donation or for that amputation. Did you get that example? Think about it some more. Tyaga, Satchidananda Rupatvat. And by letting go of these ropes, one comes to understand and appreciate that they are not a rupa, they are a swarupa. Rupa is forms and names, that which is outside. Swarupa is Sat, Chit, Ananda. They are existence, awareness, joy. And I've shared many times, the implication or benefit of knowing you are existence is you no longer fear death. Imagine how the insurance industry would change if people weren't afraid of death. The implication of knowing one's awareness is one is no longer afraid of the unknown. They're comfortable in what they know, what they don't know. They have no social anxiety. And the implication of knowing one's nature is ananda. They do not fear sorrow. When asked to engage in public speaking, they do. When they are asked to try, there's no sorrow attached to that failure. What is a more powerful science than being free of fears? Satchidananda Rupatvat. Bhavet Brahmara Kitavat. Now this is a very peculiar example. Kitavat is like a worm, like a larva. And Brahmara is like a wasp or a hornet. Bhavet. That worm or that larva becomes the wasp or the hornet. Okay? So elaborating on this. A larva, wasp's larva, can you force that larva to become a wasp? No, it's a natural unfoldment, a physical unfoldment. And the same goes with us. We cannot force ourselves to manifest our full potential. Here the larva is like a jiva. The wasp is like Brahma or freedom. This cannot be forced. This can only come with a single purpose. All that larva does, all that worm does, is keep looking at that wasp. How the wasp moves, how the wasp flies, how the wasp feeds. And in a natural way, that larva becomes that wasp. With that single purpose for us, the more we think and speak and act towards freedom, the more our potential manifests. Here is your sutra. One identification, many renunciations. One identification. My purpose in life is to identify with infinity. Many renunciations. I am not my career. I am not my house. I am not my degree. I am not my child. I am not my spouse. I am not in reference to another person. I am existence, awareness, joy. Many renunciations. That works for you? Shloka 50. We're continuing to think of how we will be when we're realized. This is your biography you're studying. This word Bodha is knowledge of, in Atma you put your name there. This is Viveka Bodha. This is Priya Bodha. This is Deepak Bodha. This is Raju Bodha. That's like a favorite Indian name. Raju Bodha. This is a famous shloka in Atma Bodha. I've referenced this many times. Please tune into this. Our Vedanta and Ramayana students, this will make more sense to you. Tirtva moharnavam hatva Ragadveshadi Rakshasan. Ragadveshadi Rakshasan. Yogi Shanti Samayuktaha. Yogi Shanti Samayuktaha. Atma Ramo Virajate. Atma Ramo Virajate. Tirtva Moharnavam Hatva. Ragadveshadi Rakshasan. Yogi Shanti Samayuktaha. Atma Ramo Virajate. Atma Ramaha. That's like the favorite bhajan of some people. Hatva, that means killed, and that has to go to the next line. Arnava means ocean. Moha Arnava, an ocean of confusion. Tirtva, having crossed over the ocean of confusion. The ocean of confusion in our relative lives is complacency. When we don't know, when we don't feel that there's more to who we are than what we're experiencing, that is complacency. And why this is compared to an ocean, when you're in the middle of an ocean, it looks endless. A complacent person is complacent forever. A confused person is complacent. And taking this to a more extreme feeling, imagine there was no enlightenment. Imagine mukti was mithya, that there is no such experience as rest, freedom. There's only amukta. What would we be doing? What would be the point of breathing? Having crossed over this idea, and for us, crossing over right now means at least knowing intellectually that there's no room for complacency. We have to go deeper than confusion. Maybe that hatva you can insert there, meaning, I've killed this lower self. Rakshasan raga dveshadi. The demons are raga, likes, dvesha, dislikes, adi. Where there's likes and dislikes, there's a whole other army of vices that come also. Lowering likes and dislikes comes hatred, doesn't it? Lowering hatred comes violence, and on and on and on. The word rakshasa, what does rakshasa mean? Rakshasa means demon or devil. In our last Vedanta and Ramayana class, there was an individual who I gave permission to be part of the class, and she had messaged me during the class in the chat room saying I turned off my camera because I look like a Rakshasa right now. Sunday morning, it's a rough time for some people. The word Rakshasa comes from the word whom you need raksha from. So Rakshasa is someone I need protection from. Okay? I don't need protection from my parents. I don't need protection from my friends. I need protection from that being over there. That means they're a Rakshasa. This word Rakshasa. And here Acharya Shankara is saying, whom do we need protection from? Our inner enemies. Inner enemies like likes, dislikes, fear, anger, and on and on and on. The more inner enemies we have, the more outer enemies we have. And if you take a nation that is going through a civil war, there's so many enemies inside that nation, naturally outer enemies can come through there too, isn't it? A very successful terrorist will create a civil war, will create fear in every facet of a country, not just at the border. We see that happening more and more and more in countries, inner enemies leading to outer enemies. And someone who is content, they're courageous then. A content person doesn't speculate, oh, this is happening in Syria, this is going to happen in my home also. And so I'm going to lock myself in my home. They don't have inner enemies, so they live courageously. Whatever happens, fine. I'm content. Here in Portland, I'm speaking on finding calmness in chaos. We keep focusing on the chaos, we become more chaotic. Find that calmness. It's your nature. We don't see that, so we keep thinking there's more chaos. There's not more chaos outside. There's more chaos inside. Yogi Shanti Samayuktaha. A yogi, one who has united the lower self with the higher self. Samayuktaha, once and for all, they experience Shanti, peace, rest. Virajate, they shine then, because Rama is their nature, Atma. Not Rama outside, but Rama inside. Inside Rama, outside drama. That's such a funny saying, but powerful also. When someone in their inner self realizes this joy, they shine. You know, one way to understand this is they become low maintenance. Please note, I didn't say low standards. I said low maintenance. One who is low maintenance can empower others, correct? Because I have such low maintenance, I can help you with your high maintenance self. And the best way to help someone who's high maintenance, make them low maintenance also. That's that shining part. But someone who's high maintenance, they keep on combing their hair again and again, and the clothes they wear and the words they use. It's so tiring just being with them. There's no shining. They make you dull because they're dull. Now, there's more to this shloka. This is Vedanta and Ramayana. This is Ramayana in a single shloka. How is this shared? Bhagwan Rama is joy, and Mother Sita is peace. Joy and peace. Joy and peace are living joyously, peacefully in Ayodhya. And even when they have to leave Ayodhya, they're still living joyfully and peacefully. Yes? However, for a moment, Mother Sita, who represents peace, she's not looking at joy. She forgets joy. And wherever there's forgetfulness, there is projection. She projects joy on a golden deer. That is essentially pleasure, possession, position. Correct? And joy and peace are separated, forcefully separated. Now, someone who wants joy has to refine peace. How? First, you have to go through the projections. The projections are the rakshasas, or the inner demons. Fear, anger, attachment. And only after these projections or vikshepa is addressed, then you can address the forgetfulness, the avidya, the avarna, the ignorance. And when that is done, once again, joy and peace are together. Living happily ever after. That's what this shloka is teaching. This shloka is teaching the ayana to Rama. Ayana means the path to joy. Your sutra for 50. Journey from darkness to light. Journey from darkness to light. That darkness is tamas. Less darkness is rajas, and the least darkness, no darkness, is sattva. Where is rajas? Outside or inside? Inside. You have to journey from projecting, from forgetting, to virajate, to shining. One more shloka. 51. All experiences of the enlightened. Bahya nitya sukha saktim. Bahya nitya sukha saktim. Hitvatma sukha nivritaha. Hitvatma sukha nivritaha. Gatastadipavat swastaha. Gatastadipavat swastaha. Swantareva prakashate. Swantareva prakashate. Bahya nitya sukha saktim. Hitvatma sukha nivritaha. Gatastadipavat swastaha. Swantareva prakashate. Acharya Shankara says, Asaktim, that is asaktim. Asaktim means attachment. For sukha, for pleasure or joy, it is anitya. It is not real if it's coming from bahya, coming from outside. I'll introduce 3 layers of reality for all of you, and we've studied this before. We're studying this again. We're trying to build the fundamentals of our study of the science of development. Sat is that which is ever present. Ever present. Now, if you think of that which is ever present, because we know Vedanta, that is God. That is the Spirit. The opposite of that is asat, that which is never present. That's with an N, never present. And that is like the horns of a hare. We use that in our scriptures. Rabbits don't have horns, so you don't think about it. It's just as a reference to Sat. Yes? Now, what if something is maybe there? Not ever present, not never present, but maybe present. What do we call that? Mithya. It's there, it's not there. What are examples of that? Everything. Everything that is not God, everything that is not the horns of a hare is mithya. Correct? Our forms, our names, our promotions, our demotions, our health, our poor health, all of that is mithya. Here the word used is anitya. Anitya means not possible. One cannot find joy from the outside. And we've studied this so many times. Now it's being verbalized in those exact words. In the next line, hitva atma sukha nirvritaha. Nirvritaha is being satisfied, content. By what? Sukha, joy. Where did this sukha come from? Atma, from inside. Hitva, having experienced. If I'm clear that the source of joy is not outside of me, I start to experience the source of joy as being inside of me. This is antaha. Bahya is mityaha. Antaha is sat. Antaha is that which is real. Okay? Remind me next week to tell you a lame joke about how change should come from within. Okay? I'm sure you've seen that image before. I like corny jokes. I find that the cornier they are, the funnier they are, because they're so simple and they don't hurt anyone, isn't it? Even sarcasm can be hurtful to an extent. But you can never be hurt by a corny joke, other than your brain hurts because it's so corny, but you're still moved by it. Gatasta deepavat swastaha. this joy coming from within, is like a lamp, deepavat, that's placed, swastaha, in a pot. Our favorite example of the pot and the lamp and the pot. They just use different orders throughout these shlokas. Let's focus on the word swastaha. Astaha means to establish. And sva is actually su. Su means swa, as in my nature. Su astaha means to be established in one's nature. In a relative sense, it means to love oneself. And someone who loves themselves is secure. If you don't love yourself, you always feel insecure. You love yourself, you feel secure. And only a secure person can engage in dharma, or their responsibilities. And the responsibility of all of us, dharma, is to reach Brahma, to reach that independent joy, which we just studied in the second line. Swantareva prakashate. Prakashate, to shine alone as oneself, independently. You know, we studied an earlier example where a lamp is put in a pot and that pot illuminates the things around. Yes? It's almost like, you know those incense holders that you put into that wooden case and there's holes in that case so the incense can come out? Imagine that, but with a light. Okay, so you put the light in there and it shines on the stuff around you. But in this shloka, they're going deeper, saying there's no holes in this pot. You have that pot, you put that light in that pot, that lamp. There's only shining. And it's not about illuminating outside, it's about illumination. There's a depth that is brought out here. It is not to highlight its lighting up. What is being shared here, there's just light. In our self-development, it's just be. That light is established, period. Just be. What's happening outside of the pot? Not the focus in this shloka. For one who is enlightened, there's only light. Enlightened. Awakened. They're only brilliant. In our sutra. Focus on lights, that's with the apostrophe, flow. Focus on lights, flow. Today when I was studying this shloka and this sutra, when I look at you, the flow of light is from me to you. That's how this light is flowing. If I take a flashlight, if I take my phone and turn on that light and I put it in front of my eye, that light does not go to me, does not go to the source of my light. Light only flows outward. No light flows inward. I am light. And this then took my mind to the first Matrix movie. There's one scene at the end where Neo jumps into Agent Smith. He enters into him and he starts to break him apart. And you can see the cracks in his body and the lights that's being emitted from him. And then you see the light coming from his mouth and his eyes and his orifices. And finally he breaks apart and there's only Neo there. You know, that source of light. It's a very powerful scene, very much like what Acharya Shankara is talking about. The Matrix was copied from the teachings of Atma Bodha. Narayan.